Good early afternoon, 1:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. I'm going to go over two today that I think are the most undervalued, at least in the top tier, undervalued when it comes to the ISO and the IoT. I have exposure to both, and with IOTA, a couple days ago, I regained exposure in BITUNIX. Forgot that you can buy it on the derivatives or in the leverage trading side. So I just looked at it as a regular spot position. I mean, the opportunity that's being given in these, it's pretty astounding. Pretty astounding. And I found myself just saying, you know what, the heck with it. It's on BITUNIX. And when it made the drop on Sunday, I just said the hell with it. And I bought my 10,000 tokens back. And I did it, well, actually 14,000, I must say. But I did it on the derivative side, or at least in the perpetual market. And then I said, you know, if it drops, you know, Tom, if it just keeps coming down, if it ends up doing that, you could end up, in theory, buying a bunch more. But you've got an inverse left arm. And if you don't buy this and this turns into an inverse head and shoulders, and I told myself, and I had the conversation 3 separate times on Sunday as the drop was happening. Boom, boom. And then this could be the potential to the breakout back to the test. I mean, we're going to draw the chart out properly, but as far as it goes with IOTA and the Internet of Things and DGB, we've already talked about DGB earlier, and Algo in the ISO, these are two that if you've watched me for any length of time, if you don't own these in some fashion when the kickout happens, and I do have IOTX as well. And that, to me, it's similar to IOTA because they both do the Internet of Things. But that's like me saying, I have XRP, so I don't need XLM. You know, it's kind of that kind of thing. Or I have XRP, so I don't need Algo. It's not true. Just because we have those, we want to cover the other parts that'll be just as integral. So maybe XRP is part of the banking sector, but what about independent countries, you know, that are trying to utilize a different kind of currency? So there's different things here that may not meet the eye so much to maybe the average person that might stumble into my audience. But for some of you that understand our lingo here with the ISO and the IoT and even the AI front, but mostly for us, the ISO and IoT, I think you understand what I'm saying here. Like, at some point, like, I'm just trying to figure this one out because IOTA is one of my favorite ones, and I'm just trying to figure it out in a sense of what exactly is it trying to do here, because to me, I could look at this a couple ways, but when I started looking at it, where was this? I think it was like that broadening wedge, like I think that's what I looked at, and I'm like, holy shit, you know, you're just tempting fate here not being in this. Well, I was in it for a while, but then obviously you guys know the story. So anyhow, so I just said the heck with it. I'm just gonna hold it in the over there on BITUNIX and let it play out. So I think this will be interesting. But this is what it kind of looks like. It's in a broadening wedge, and that's coming from like a downward consolidation. So I don't know. This is pretty interesting if you look at it that way. But almost. Unless, wait, let me take this down into a smaller time frame real quick. Because I was also looking at it a slightly different way. So if you look at it in that scale, that's one thing in the daily. But then I started looking at it like this as well. Like you have this uptrend, right? And I think this is when I started playing with it like this. And I'm like, you know, that actually makes some sense here. I think it's right when I did it, something like, it might have been right here. This is what I did, right here. Once I put the pattern like that, I was like, that makes a lot more sense. So we're still within this little wedge. It formed a little wedge. It looks, if it's it came into in a falling position, but it is kind of, I don't know. See, this looks like it's trying to build like an inverse head and shoulders here, and it's just gonna pop out. like, my head keeps saying, like, hey, as long as this doesn't fall out, which obviously that's why I wanted to draw the pattern. I know it took, like, what, 5 minutes to get here. But I think you guys would rather, instead of me just drawing it out before I come on, I think you'd rather me draw it in front of you in real time so you can see exactly what's going into my decision making when I'm trying to do something. And when I first drew it out, I'm like, yeah, I guess you could look at it in a longer timescape as a broadening wedge, but we got to look at the smaller scale first. And this is what I came up with when I was doing this yesterday. You could actually move it up a little bit higher as well, but this is just what I came up with when I tried to redo it after these drops happened. Because for a minute it looked like it was just going to run away. It was up to 41 cents, and it was like, holy crap, and then it just, came and reconsolidated. That's why I figured I would touch on this one again. What the hell is going on there? We definitely don't want that. But yeah, I can see that it could possibly. I think it's forming, and if it pops up, we can see how this consolidation, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support. So, I mean, you can even build it a little bit bigger, but I was trying to keep it more in the universal fashion, like, hey, those were just overzealous runs out of the consolidation. Hasn't been able to hold it yet, so the significance of a hold there would be very widely felt through the chart. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. Very big part of a mainframe token in the IoT. So just consider that. I'm not saying to go in. I'm not a financial advisor. I can only share what I do and my reasoning why. And then with Algo, and then I'll release this. Algo is at 43.7 cents, up 1.7% on the day. And if you look at the all-time chart on Algo, it looks spectacular. That's a huge bull flag. And then if you look at IOTA, smaller bull flag, but a big inverted candle, inverted hammer on the candle before. That's massive. It's massive. Remember, IOTA in 2000, this is the last point. In 2000, well, let's just say at its all-time highs around 21, 22. IOTA has been all the way up here at $6.66. And remember when we were talking about if you've missed XRP when we bought 10,000 tokens at 34 cents. Remember when we used to draw this out? Isn't it to be said that IOTA is way freaking behind everybody? Like, so don't overlook IOTA, please. This is like XRP prior to it breaking out. And yeah, who knows how long it's going to consolidate, but that's exactly how I'm looking at it now. I'm just going to keep buying into it. The more opportunities it gives me, and it's already gained a decent gain here in the last couple days. But I'm just going to keep buying into it. And the other one that I have 20,000 tokens, and I've been in it for been settled and secured for a while. But again, it's set up the exact same way XRP was prior to the breakout. We've got volume pouring in. But look at this. This is just like IOTA as well. You see the big, it's like the all-time, I think XRP's well in front of some of these other ones is what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. And if you've been a fan of mine since 21, the ISO are so important in the IoT to me. But look at these. Is it possible that XRP made that before the rest of them? XRP was in the same range. And look, we drew this out a long time ago. And it looked crazy when we did it, but now it's actually worked through this. This wasn't just drawn now. This was drawn before this entire thing was even moving. And then we said, well, then maybe it comes up to $6.69. Like, and now look at it. Like, from this logic, IOTA and Algo have to go huge. And then you look at XLM, it's the same thing. Look at that massive bull flag. But XLM's already did the big W starting to form. IOTA and Algo are so undervalued right now, it's almost crazy that anybody would invest in Doge over those two. No offense. But like, if you have the opportunity between Doge at 38 and IOTA at 34, please buy IOTA or buy Algo at 43. Like, the potential here is astronomical. Astronomical. Doge, meh, it's going to go as high as Elon takes it. But there's 140 billion tokens and counting. IOTA, max supply. It has 2.72 billion circulating, and the max supply is only 4.6 billion. Please take a close look at that. Please, please, please. And then Algo. What the hell did I put? What is that? 10 million? I mean, 10 billion? Let's see, 10. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So 10 billion total tokens. So, I mean, I would heavily consider the two of these. Heavily consider these. I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't tell you what to do. But I've been preaching these two for a very long time. And I keep saying if there's certain ones you've missed, algo, like if you missed XRP 10,000 tokens at 3,500, let's just call it for what it is. And now it's worth 32,000 on 10,000 tokens. You're in that same ball game again between IOTA and algo. Right now, algo is 10,000 tokens, about 4,200. And IOTA, I dare argue, is even a better steal right now. I mean, IOTA sitting at 34 cents is criminal right now. It's criminal. And you're going to hear me be more passionate about my ISO tokens, the ones that I believe in with our audience, because this is criminal right now, where it's sitting. And at some point, these utility ones are going to rip right through the floor. And how awesome is it going to be if we're 10xing XRP and all of a sudden we 10x algo? Well, algo would be way more. And then we 10x IOTA. And, you know, we've had, hell, I've been in IOTA for so long and then I sold it when it had that nice run up because I didn't really trust the platform I had it on. And but now to be able to buy it back at 29 on BITUNIX, it works beautiful. It's perfect. I don't have to worry about it there. So I feel very blessed with this opportunity right now, but I started to realize, like, Tom, what are you doing? You know there's potential here. You got to start talking about this like you used to with XRP. Like, hey, 10,000 tokens right now is literally $3,350, like $3,400 for IOTA and under $4,300 for algo. If you're looking for a big opportunity, and yeah, high risk, high reward, but in this case, I don't think there's a high risk here. Volume is coming in at all-time levels right now in the weekly time frame. You can see it. It's massively blown away what it did in that big all-time run. It's massively shooting out right now in volume on algo. Same thing can be said for IOTA. It's not as big because the volume, well, actually with IOTA, it's a little bit different. IOTA, the volume started to constrict. But IOTA is still, well, I think IOTA's still stuck behind a little bit too. Okay, fine. If you don't want to trust IOTA, I can understand because you'll be like, oh, the volume's not breaking out. But I could argue it a different way. When it was on this bearish consolidation, the volume crashed because there was no sell volume. So, but at least for algo, that volume is drastically shot up. So algo looks like it's a steal right now. So does IOTA. But just look at IOTA like it's stuck in this area right here before all this volume started to shoot in for algo. Seems like that's kind of a case we're going into. See how this descending consolidation happened in the volume on the bottom? And then it shot up with the surge? I could argue that's exactly what's going on here. And we're waiting because it just started surging. It just had a smaller scale. And now we're looking for the big surge. We just had an unprecedented amount of volume here in 21. It was crazy. But, you know, don't overlook it. Don't overlook it. I'll end this in a second because I know this is getting rather long. But I know you guys, I know some of you understand what I'm talking about with the ISO and the IoT. Then this is algo at the back end of this. Looks like an inverse head and shoulders. Looks like the pattern set up just like it needs to be. Here, let me put this in the better color so that we can actually see it. How it's supposed to be. Oops. I don't know why it won't pick. Oh, there we go. Here, we'll put this inverse head and shoulders here. We'll put that in there. Nope, that doesn't look good. You can't even see it. So there's the inverse head and shoulders inside of there. Inside the consolidation. And then you do have a top here. But that's back testing it right now. It's back testing perfectly. And now if it breaks out, we have a short-term flag as well. As you can see on the back test. This is, if I had to say how you want to set up for a bullish consolidation, this is as perfect as it gets right now. I'm not even joking. You're even back testing the breakout of the inverse head and shoulders. It doesn't get any better than this for algo. So massive potential here. You're talking about 59 cents off of this breakout. I'm just going to get rid of that. Because that, yeah, that's a stopgap. But the technical move is 59 cents here in the immediate. But overall, when it breaks out, the technical target's $1.12. And I don't even think that gets it started yet. I think once this gets started, you're not going to be able to slow it down. I just don't think you're going to be able to slow this down once it gets started. Look at the massive surge in volume when we had the breakout, and on the consolidation, look how it started dying down. That's dropping price, dropping volume, recipe for a bullish continuation. And now the volume is starting to pick up slightly because the price is breaking out again slightly. This looks so bullish that I think some people will truly beat themselves over the head with their own portfolio if they don't get into these. IOTA, Algo. You've already heard me come on today and talk about other ones. I talk about the ones I talk about. And you know what? If it goes down 12%, be friggin' happy. Don't be mad. Because now I'm going to start adding to IOTA and Algo every single day until they at least break past for Algo. I'm going to buy it every day until it gets above 55 cents. And I'm going to buy IOTA every single day until it gets above 45 cents. So if you're interested in FOMO Friday, Winning Wednesdays, today is Tuesday. So today's, what's this? Motivated Mondays, Technical Tuesdays, Tasty Tuesdays, whatever you want to call it. But Technical Tuesdays, Temptation Tuesday, Turnaround Tuesday, you can call it whatever you want. But right now you should be very highly considering. So I hope you join me at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight on my live. And we're going to talk about it, and I'll buy more of both of them in the live tonight because that's how strongly I feel. Have a blessed day. Make sure to hit that like button, and please share this far and wide.